2009. I lost my job, my apartment, and had to drop all of my college classes. I ended up having to move into my aunt's house and share rooms with my cousin Beth. When she heard the news, Beth rushed downstairs to clear me out of space. And even though I was moving in because I had so especially failed at life, I was glad to be close to Beth again. Beth and I have been road dogs since I was 15. We were both light-skinned and used to spend all of our time doing what our families called white people things. After about 2 weeks and 10 failed job interviews, I couldn't handle my reality. So one day, I just stopped getting out of bed. I didn't get up to eat, not to brush my teeth or put on a bra, and definitely not to shower. At the end of day 3, Beth came home and suggested we go out to party. Beth is a little goth and a lot vampire. So when someone so enthusiastic about the dark side, death, and leather says you could use some cheering up, then by God, it's time to get out of bed, wash your ass, and go get some drinks. I found out later that in my sleep I had been weeping and moaning all night, and it was cramping Miss Twilight Wannabe's style. We had my aunt drive us to the nearest dive bar, some shithole in National City, and planned on taking a cab home since it was only a couple miles away. The bar was populated by 2 old Filipino women in miniskirts and halter tops, and some 50-something-year-old men wearing denim jackets, dirty boots, and that smelled like prison and divorce. So we started drinking and shared our standard 2 pitchers of Bud Light, and yes, I know, Bud Light, ew. But I was homeless, and when in Rome... We were going outside for smokes every 15 minutes and hugging and professing each other's loves for one another every 5. We were a couple of jolly-ass bitches, just hugs and smiles and laughs. It was about to be midnight when some actually hot guy shows up in the bar. He was entirely out of place. We couldn't figure out what he was doing there. Is he here for the old ladies? One of whom had climbed onto the bar and was trying to dance to the Korn and Slipknot songs Jessie and I had put in the jukebox. She kept looking at us like she wanted tips. It was like a National City at Night version of wiping windshields and asking for change. So the hot guy jumped down from his stool and turns out to be like 4'2". Oh, how cute! I gushed too loudly to be polite. Beth whispered, yelled, "April, shut the fuck up, he's coming over here." He walked up to us and introduced himself, and I didn't care then what his name was. I still don't, so I'll call him Poor Thing. Poor Thing is not creepy, which goes a long way in my book. Besides, he's tiny. I could probably take him. So Poor Thing ordered drinks for myself and my cousin, and they were fucking strong. They tasted like leftovers from last week's game of King's Cup. Poor Thing's next move was genius. He led my cousin and me to the pool table. This way he could tell exactly how fucked up we were by how terribly we played pool. When we had to forfeit the game because both of us were stuck in the standard drunk girl bent at the waist, knees together, ankles apart position, he knew to make his move. He invited us to go with him to buy more beers and keep the party going. We were both faded, and he could have told us he was going to gut us like fish and make us eat each other's insides, and we still would have smiled, joined hands, and skipped into the car. The instant the car started moving, Jessie and Beth and I both groaned. "Oh, I don't like this. My stomach." Our new friend, Poor Thing, was worried that we were going to lose our stomachs in the car, so of course, he drove faster and crazier. So of course, Beth puked in her own lap. Not loud or dramatic, super stealth, ninja puke. Poor Thing still wanted to buy beer, so he parked in front of his apartment complex next door to a liquor store. He went in to buy beer, and I got out to check on Beth. She was laying across the back seat, groaning. She couldn't move her hands or lift her own head. Beth's body had been taken over by some deep-down part of her infant id. Infant id Beth kept puking. I was too drunk to pull her head out of the car. I barely had the balance to grab her hair and hold her head up so she could at least throw up on the floor of the car. Poor Thing came back with a case of swilly beer He looked inside the car and didn't look surprised. Maybe this happens to him all the time. Maybe he's just super understanding. He asked me to come help him get some stuff to clean up with and put away the beer. Oh, okay, great idea. Let's leave my cousin in the car on a dark street, puking her guts out, and get some supplies. So I went. We walk through the door, and poor thing immediately starts putting on the moves. All right, as long as it's quick. Poor thing started initiating launch sequence, and I grabbed a condom from my purse. Then I realized that the regular Trojan condom is like 20 sizes too big. I think, don't they make special protection for ones like that? Then I realized I said that out loud. Poor thing was visibly pissed, but decided to play through the pain. Right when poor thing was trying to climb on top of me, I sort of came to. Hey, let's go get my cousin. Look, some dudes don't fuck fat chicks, and some fat chicks don't fuck little dicks. It's so simple. He got off of me and threw his clothes on and bolted out the door. I tried chasing after him, but I was still stumbling with my knees stuck together and ankles still spread. When I finally found the car, poor thing was in the back seat with Beth, and he wasn't wearing a shirt. With drunken logic, I figured that since we couldn't make doing it happen because of the subatomic baloney pony, I thought he might have rushed over to try to put it in Beth's mouth, which in retrospect doesn't even make sense since her mouth was still full of puke. So I freaked out and ran to the car. I pulled the door handle and it was locked. I started banging on the window, yelling at the top of my lungs, "Hey, let me in, asshole! What are you, like a rapist or something?" He jumped out of the car and slammed the door. I could see his anger in his eyes and face and body, but I could also see the regret and insult and humiliation. He looked like every detail about the night had been flying around his head and then decided to all try to pack back into his brain at the same time. He screamed, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He balled up his fist, turned around and punched his car. Even though poor thing had taken to punching things, I wasn't afraid of him. Probably because he was still 4'2". And I'd seen his weenie. I shoulder checked him and opened the car door and was knocked in the face by some rank odor. I turned my head away. I might puke. This smell, it's not throw up or booze. It's something more evil. Oh, she shit herself. Oh God, Jesse, no. I stood straight up and looked up at poor thing, eyes wide open, jaw on the floor. We'll never get a cab now. So I did the only adult thing I could think of to do. I called Beth's mom, my aunt. I explained what had happened, and she said she was on her way. What I forgot was my aunt never leaves the house alone, so now a simple rescue mission was a family outing. Luckily, I had remembered to sober up before she arrived. I did so by jamming my finger down my throat and emptying my guts next to the car. Not like a ninja. Lights started turning on in the apartment windows lining the streets. I tried to hide behind the car, but fuck it, go big or go home still drunk. My aunt pulled up about 10 long minutes later, and that was an awkward wait, leaning on the car that was filling up with the foulest of excreta, wondering if I should start a conversation with poor thing. "So, do you come here often? Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just gonna shoot me now?" Once my aunt and her 14-year-old daughter, and her 10-year-old daughter, and her 3-year-old daughter arrived, I had to put Beth, a pile of steaming waste, in my aunt's car myself, after the girls put the baby seat in the trunk. Now smeared completely with the same stuff stuff that was rotting in the back of the seat. The poor thing's car. Beth's body kept throwing up, which we had not anticipated. So yeah, we got her a bag, but no, it didn't matter. When I got home, I had to carry Beth into the house and get her a shower, and the bathroom light was not working, but there was just enough moonlight coming through the window, which is great, because now it's, I don't know, more romantic that way. I get Beth's clothes off, then mine. I stood her up in the shower, and I jumped in too. I washed myself first, but let her stand in the water. I started washing her, but since I'd never cleaned a human for the purpose of actually washing them, I just sort of scrubbed her like she was a car. I moved my foot and my toes came down into something thick, semi-solid, and terrifying. I didn't look down. I just grabbed the loofah and poured some soap on it. Beth, prima, que se necesita lavar su culo? I think you need to wash your bottom. Why? I think you pooed, prima. No, I what? Prima, dude, wake the fuck up. We are in the shower, covered in puke and poo, dude. You shit all over that poor guy's car. Just please wash your ass. Beth started crying. I just kept washing us, holding back tears of my own, hoping the water and bubbles would make like the good Lord and take our sins and throw them into the depths of the ocean. I wouldn't do this for anyone else in the world, but I realized that night that me and Beth have something that most friends, real sisters, and married couples don't have. A friendship consecrated in shit.